Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte bago yung adjournment PNJ, kabilang nga yung Philippine Mental Health Act, yung pagpapalakas ng balik scientist program, yung National Skill Feeding Law, pagpapalawak ng National Integrated Protection Area System, kasama rin yung Anti-Hazing Act of 2018, at patuloy naman yung pagtalakay ng Kamara at ng Kongreso doon sa ilang mahalaga ring bills kagaya ng National ID System, yung pagpapalakas ng compliance with Occupational Safety and Health Standards o yung OSHS, at marami pang ibang mga panukalang batas na itong third regular session ay inaasahan na matatalakay o tulyang sa batas itong mga ito at maipasa para naman sa paglagda ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Marami yung mga dumalo dito sa pagbubukas ng third regular session ng 17th Congress. Kanina nakita natin si House Majority Leader Rodolfo Pariñas, pero hindi natin napansin si dating Pangulong Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Sabi nila, nakasuot daw ito ng pula. Anyway, inaantabayanan ng hindi lamang ng mga media dito sa mababang kapulungan ng Kongreso, no, yung sinasabing posibleng pagpapas ng liderato. Pakinggan lang natin yung bahagi ng mga pahayag ni House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez.
The Creator then checked up on the person and asked him, "Are you ready?" The person replied, "Yes, and I have also chosen the family I shall be part of and made beneficial arrangements." The Creator, taken aback, and said, "Wait a minute, you do not get to choose which family you will be born into." The person was shocked and disappointed given the uncertainty he suddenly had to confront. What if he were born into a poor and underprivileged family? He would hardly get a shot at a good and dignified life. The person therefore asked the Creator for more time. Out of kindness, the Creator accommodated his request. Rather than concentrate opportunities in the hands of a few, the person dismantled his previous design. Instead, he broadened and spread opportunities beyond Manila and made it accessible to all Filipinos. By doing so, regardless of where or to which family the person would be born into, he had a fair fighting chance at opportunity and the rewards that came with hard work during his life here on earth. This story, shared to me many years ago, has stayed in my memory. I will never forget the lessons it imparts, especially this one. At the end of the day, bilog ang mundo at lahat tayo, no exception, mayaman man o mahirap, makapangyarihan o dukha, ay kasama sa ikot ng kapalaran. My colleagues in the House of Representatives, we were elected by the Filipino people, all of whom had no say as to which parents and family they will be born into. Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, this genetic lottery significantly shapes the destiny of our people. And that is why it is our duty as their representatives to do what the person did when he was confronted and humbled by the uncertainty that comes with being underprivileged. We have to level the playing field and maximize as well as spread opportunities for all. This is the governing spirit behind what we have accomplished in this chamber for the past 2 years. From July 2016 and as of today, we have processed 2,900.
Pakinggan naman natin ang bahagi ng talumpati ni Senate President Vicente Sotto.
But that same road doubles as a limitation of our moves too. We must abide by the rules of driving, such as staying on the right and inside of your lane, passing on the left and driving at appropriate speed. The careless and reckless driver is bound to land us in a roadside canal or a muddy rice field. In lawmaking, that road where we travel as a nation is limited by our 1987 Constitution, our laws, Supreme Court decisions, and our sense of reasonableness, equity, fairness, and justice. Tradition is also a useful guidepost to temper our desire for novel adventures and experimentation. To do otherwise is to court disaster. Kasabihan sa Pilipino, ang lumalakad ng matulin, kung matinik ay malalim. We in the Senate comprise one of the two essential component houses of the Legislative Department, as set forth in Article 6, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, which states, quote, "The legislative power shall be vested in the Congress of the Philippines, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives." End of quote. The use of the word "shall," as any student of law learns early in his studies, means that it is compulsory. Our Constitution further states that the Senate shall be composed of 24 senators, while the House of Representatives shall be composed of not more than 250 members. The Senate is essential in any and all matters pertaining to legislation. And whenever Congress is mandated to exercise some functions, it is obvious that 250 beats 24 anytime. But to claim that the procedure in the Legislative Department is a purely numbers game is to miss the point big time. There will be no need for any Senate counterpart bills, no need for bicameral conference committees, no need for joint resolutions, and no joint assemblies if that lame argument is carried to its absurd conclusion. Sa pagpapalit ng pangalan ng eskwela o paaralan sa isang liblib na sulok ng Pilipinas, kailangan ng Senado. Sa pagtatakda ng umpisa at katapusan ng Christmas break ng Kongreso, kailangan ng Senado. Sa pagpapalit ng pangalan ng mga kalsada, kailangan ng Senado. Sa pagtatalaga ng isang espesyal na araw sa isang maliit na bayan ng bansa, kailangan ang Senado. Sa maliliit na bagay, kailangan kami. Pero sa pag-iiba ng Konstitusyon ng Pilipinas, hindi kailangan ng Senado. If our consent is needed in small things, more so in bigger things. Now, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is not my intention to preside over an unnecessary body of the Legislative Department of the Philippine Republic. It would be a dishonor to the memory of this august body, whose name brings us back to the glory days of Rome, all the way up to the great Manuel Luis Quezon, whose tenure as Commonwealth President intersected at some point with my grandfather, Vicente Y. Sotto. To say, or even insinuate, that we are unnecessary and irrelevant is unacceptable. I do not wish to preside during my watch over the necrological services of the Philippine Senate. Especially so today, when we are confronted with a number of momentous choices affecting our nation. Questions: do we shift from presidential to parliamentary form of government? Do we retain a unitary republic or try the federal system? Do we transform our regions to states themselves? And some even ask, pray tell, bakit? The Senate is the forum, the ring, within which these ideas will struggle for supremacy. It is the stage where these ideas are proposed and debated. And finally, it is the rostrum from which far-reaching decisions are promulgated. So in this third regular session, we look forward in passing more relevant measures that will be beneficial to the Filipino people. The Senate has a distinct role, DNA, to preserve in the life of our nation, an integrity to defend, and an honor to die for. The memories of the giants who sat in this hall, in this August hall, will forever hound us if we drop the ball at this crucial hour. This afternoon, we shall hear the President address the nation through us. We shall listen with our hearts and minds, and afterwards we shall do what is best for our country in our mandated role as the Senate of the people of the Philippines. So may the God of our fathers, the Allah of our brother Muslims, in our own Bathala and May Kapal, guide us always. Thank you. Shukran. Salamat po ng marami.
Congressman Rudy Farinas. I'd want to personally thank you right now, one by one, for all your efforts. However, time constraints do not allow me to do so. Nonetheless, please know that I am grateful and proud of your work you have done. Looking back at what we have accomplished, I do hope that the person I told you about, the one who will be born in the Philippines, will be less apprehensive and fearful. After all, he has seen that the Congress of the Filipino people, though far from perfect, has tried its best to broaden and spread access to opportunities for all. But, admittedly, there is still much work to be done as we start the third regular session. And this involves dismantling one of the most extractive institutions that has robbed the rest of the Philippines, with the exception of a few cities, of its chance to fully realize its potential for growth and development. I'm talking about the 1987 Constitution. The primary reason why many critics claim there's no need for charter change is because the problems of the Philippines should be blamed at bad people running the government. They posit that people are the center of the problem and charters are inconsequential. Hence, no need to change the Constitution. This position is untenable. Experts from the fields of economics, political science, developmental studies, both here and abroad, have a consensus about what is necessary to cure an ailing nation. And they have pinpointed the fundamental issue that must be addressed. If for business, it's about location, location, and location. If for banks, it's about capital, capital, capital. When it comes to development of nations, it boils down to institutions, institutions, and institutions. And what is the mother of all institutions here in the Philippines? It's the 1987 Constitution. We gave it a head start of 30 years. Has it successfully produced a virtuous cycle that led to prosperity and opportunity for all? Or has it proven itself to be an extractive institution that benefits some at the expense of the many? Yes, bad people are also responsible for the mess that we are presently in. But to miss the bigger picture and fail to understand the role that institutions play in the puzzle of prosperity and development for our nation will seal our fate and preserve mediocrity as status quo. We have to do something about this. There are many drafts proposing changes to our charter. The three most prominent ones are as follows. First is the draft of our Committee on Constitutional Amendments. Second is the draft by PDP Laban Federalism Institute. And finally, third, the draft from the Consultative Committee led by retired Chief Justice Renato Puno. The topics covered by said proposals are numerous as they try to address the deficiencies and flaws of the 1987 Constitution. These are too many to mention as we speak to you now, but will be further discussed in the committees and meetings. Nonetheless, a very important issue raised in the drafts that must be specially and specifically mentioned is the issue involving political dynasties. I have manifested and made public that I am amenable to anti-political dynasty provision as proposed by the Consultative Committee draft. However, I have also made it clear, based on my personal studies and consultation with peers, that political dynasties proliferated because of the unintended effects of imposing term limits. Let's push for the self-executory anti-political dynasty provision para rin wala nang pipilitin sa pamilya tumakbo kahit ayaw naman talaga. But I propose that term limits be removed. If we succeed, and I am confident we will succeed, that the difficult reforms we intend to accomplish, I am sure that the person I told you about, the guy who had no say as to where and to which family he will be born into, rather than worry about being born in the Philippines, he will just smile and say, "It's okay, I can be born anywhere in the archipelago. It doesn't matter which family I shall be as a child of, because opportunities are vastly spread to the point that hard work will have its rewards and privilege won't matter much anymore. This is the Filipino dream. Together, let us realize it." Thank you, good morning, and may God bless the Philippines.
Napakinggan natin ang mga paunang pananalita ni Senate President Vicente Soto at House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez. Samantala, grupong kadamay nagpo-programa sa harapan ng tanggapan ng National Housing Authority. May detalye si Ian Jasper Eliazar. Ian?
Yes, yun nga, ginasagawa nilang programa nga dito sa harapan ng National Housing Authority. Itong grupo ng kadamay. Sa mga oras ngang ito, ay kakatapos lang nung kanilang isinagawang programa na tinatayang nasa 2,000 katao na grupong kadamay na nagmula sa Quezon City, Bulacan, Caloocan at Rizal. Alas 8 pangalan ng umaga ay nagsimula yung kanilang programa dito na kung saan ay iba't ibang panawagan yung kanilang ipinoprotesta dito sa gagawing ikatlong SONA ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ito nga yung abot kayang disente at pangmasang pabahay.
Samantala, naka-full alert status na ang buong puwersa ng Philippine National Police bilang paghahanda sa isasagawang State of the Nation Address o SONA ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ngayong araw. Kagabi pa lamang nagsimula na ang deployment ng pulisya, partikular sa mga papwestohan ng mga magpoprotesta. Nasa 6,000 kapulisan ang ipapakalat sa paligid ng batasang pambansa. Masungit man ang panahon ay handang-handa na ang buong pulisya. Ininspeksyon naman ni PNP Chief Director General Oscar Albayalde ang ipinatutupad na seguridad kaugnay sa SONA ni Pangulong Duterte. May detalye si Mar Gabriel. Mar?
Ininspeksyon ni PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde ang inilatag na seguridad para sa idaraos na SONA ni Pangulong Duterte mamayang hapon. Personal na ipinaalala ni Albayalde sa mga pulis na ipatupad ang maximum tolerance at irespeto ang human rights. Pinayuhan niya rin ang mga pulis na huwag maging mainitin ang ulo upang hindi mauwi sa sakitan ng rally mamaya. Kasabay nito, pinayuhan din ni Albayalde ang mga militanteng grupo na magpoprotesta na maging mahinahon, huwag manakit ng pulis at huwag tinira ng anumang gamit upang maging mapayapa ang protesta. Hindi naman daw hahadlangan ng pulisya ang gagawing protesta ng mga ralista dahil karapatan-aniya nila ito, pero dapat daw ay gawin nila ito ng matiwasay. Samantala, kaninang madaling araw nga ay inilagay na sa full alert status ang buong pwersa ng PNP. Ayon kay Albayalde, bagaman dito gagawin sa Quezon City ang SONA, minarapat nila na alertohin din ang kanilang katauhan sa buong bansa para mapigilan ang anumang posibleng mangyaring insidente kasabay ng SONA ng Pangulo. Inatasan niya raw ang mga pulis na paigtingin ang kanilang checkpoint operations, intelligence gathering at pagbabantay sa kanilang mga kampo sa buong bansa. Para sa Eagle News, Mar Gabriel, I am 1 with 25.
Maganda yung mga tropa natin ay nakadeploy, maayos, everything is in place. Yung ating mga troops, mga dapat nakadeploy are all in their deployed or na lang mga kanilang mga detailed na area of responsibility. No? At so far, nandyan na rin yung mga human rights officers natin coming from the national headquarters, and we are expecting yung mga commissioner or representative from the Commission on Human Rights will be coming in after lunch. Ang kada pwesto nila ay isa, so we have a total of 5 coming from the CHR. Well, wala na, maliban dito, and of course, meron mga pro Duterte doon sa malapit sa Batasan, malapit sa Southgate, na titignan din natin. And we also would like to give them security para sa kanilang mga, personal security na rin doon sa area nila. And of course, hindi natin maiwasan din na binabantayan ngayon yung US Embassy. No? Titingnan din natin kung gaano ka-prepared yung mga nakadeploy natin doon sa vicinity ng US Embassy.
At yan ang mga balita para sa oras na ito. Magbabalik ang Eagle News Update mamayang alas 11. Antabayanan nyo rin po ang iba pang mga balita kaugnay sa SONA ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa special coverage ng Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Mula sa Eagle News Service, ako si Phoebe Publico and I'm 1 with 25.